Hello everyone, this is Stephanie, your CSA coach. I'm going live a little bit early because I had a conflict later, but this will be available for everyone to watch. This is week 2B of our CSA shares, so if you're a half share member, B week shares will pick up this week. So today and Thursday pickup is between 1 and 7. Make sure when you go to the pickup table and go back to your car, you leave the crates and the pick your own containers at the farm. So you need to make sure you're bringing stuff to put all of your produce in once you get back to your car. Pick your owns are in the field, so dress appropriately. Wear a hat, wear sunscreen if you're gonna be out there very long. Yesterday it rained a bunch, so proper foot attire is also recommended. All right, jumping right into this week's share. We have pick your own strawberries, 2 quarts. These are best stored in the fridge unwashed. I have a container, I mentioned this last week, that has like a colander in it. So this is where I store them. Great, just eaten as is. We're having like a strawberry chicken and spinach salad tonight. So that's where I'm gonna use some of them. Excuse me. The recipe this week, I'm pretty sure, is going to showcase strawberries also. There's a strawberry top vinegar that's on the blog. Strawberries are amazing in baked goods. So lots and lots of ways to use the strawberries. I'm sure people are not having trouble using them at all. But stored in the fridge, do not wash them until you're ready to eat them. We also have kale. Kale is stored in the fridge in a either a Debbie Meyer green bag or a plastic bag. Kale can be eaten raw or it can be cooked. Let's see what recipes are on the blog. We've got kale Caesar salad, kale chips. Pretty sure there's a kale pesto, which there's a lot of ingredients that would work for a pesto this week. You can do a massaged kale salad. You can just simply saute it with onions and garlic and serve it as a side. So kale. We have bok choy again. So we had bok choy last week. This was showcased in our recipe for last week. Bok choy is stored in the fridge in a Debbie Meyer green bag or a Ziploc bag. This will last. It's pretty hearty. So use some of your other greens first. Save this. Great in stir fries. Great just sauteed as a side with onion and garlic. It was in our simple spring ramen cups from last week, but really good, just simply sauteed. So that's our bok choy. New to the share this week are our turnips. First thing you're gonna do with our turnips is chop off the tops. Those get stored in a separate bag. Bottoms get stored, or the bulbs get stored in a different bag. The tops can be sauteed. They can also be thrown into our veggie scrap bag to make veggie broth. So we mentioned that last week. Save all of your scraps, like the ribs of the kale, the tops of any of your produce that you're not going to use. Throw that into a bag, throw it into the freezer, and then once it gets big and bulky, you can make veggie broth. And there's a PDF that I shared last week that makes an easy veggie broth that you can then freeze or preserve or use. Turnips can be eaten raw, so the tops can be sauteed or they can be eaten raw, just chopped up into a salad, most often sauteed. The bottoms can be eaten raw or cooked. Raw, you can simply slice them thin and throw them on top of a salad. You can roast them. Really good just as like a side in a dip. Roasted, they can be grilled, they can be pickled. So lots of ways to use our turnips. Also new to this week's share is kohlrabi, one of my favorite vegetables that I had no idea existed before Blooming Glen Farm. Same thing, we want to remove the tops. Either store them in a separate bag or throw them in your veggie scrap bag. They can be sauteed just like everything else, just as a simple green side. The bottoms can be eaten raw. That's the way I prefer them. They can also be pickled. They can also be roasted. So same thing as pretty much every other root vegetable, but these, I prefer the crispness of them raw. There's a couple recipes that were shared with kohlrabi. You can also like boil them like a mashed potato and mash them, or boil them like a potato and mash them. Scallions get stored in the fridge, either in a plastic bag or upright in water. Scallions are a mild onion flavor, so they can be used as a garnish. They can be added to salads. You can dehydrate them. You can, I prefer them like on top of salad. So we'll chop up a few for tonight's salad and they'll be like a garnish on top of our salad. They were in last week's recipe, scallions. Dill gets stored the same way in a glass in the fridge. Dill, it pairs really well with eggs. There's a dill dip on the blog that's really good for veggies. I don't think I'm going to use this week, so I'm going to dehydrate it. Dill dehydrates really, really well, so I'm going to throw it out, dehydrate it, and then that preserves it for a little bit longer. If you know you're going to use it, you can make anything paired with eggs. So like frittatas, you can add dill to. You can do, dill is really good for pickling. So you can do pickled turnips or pickled kohlrabi and add the dill to it. So stored in the fridge for that one. We have salad mix. Our salad mix gets stored just like this until you're ready to use it in the fridge, and best for a base for salads. We have spinach, and as I've said before, spinach and arugula from the farm are one of my favorites. We sauteed last week's and had it as a side. This we're going to use in a salad for tonight's dinner. So I'm just gonna lightly dress it and serve it with chicken and the strawberries, and then probably some nuts and some scallions on top. Stored in the fridge, just like that. Wash it when you're ready to use it. It can be eaten raw, it can be sauteed as a side, or you can add it to lots of different dishes. Pairs well with eggs, so you can throw it in like a frittata or a quiche. You can make green cubes. So any of our, like our kale or tops, or turnip tops, or kohlrabi tops, our spinach, you can turn them into green cubes. Spinach you can also throw into smoothies. Green garlic. Green garlic is a milder garlic stored in the fridge in a Ziploc bag, or since it's bigger, like a Debbie Meyer green bag. Anything that requires garlic, you can use this. It's just gonna be milder. So the entire thing can be used, not just the bottoms, but the green parts as well. Chop it up. There's a green garlic dressing. There's, you can use it in your pestos. So you could do the kale pesto and use this in there as well. You can use the scallions in there. But green garlic is a fun treat in the spring. Last but not least, we have our lettuce. Lettuce is stored in the fridge. Do not wash it until you're ready to use it. I'm gonna put it in a big Debbie Meyer green bag because this is a larger head. I may actually add some of this to our salad tonight as well, but this is a nice hearty lettuce, so you can use it in salads. You can use it as a vessel for wraps. You can throw it on burgers. You can chop it up for tacos. So lots of ways to use the lettuce. But stored in the fridge in a Ziploc bag or a Debbie Meyer green bag. That is it for this week, other than if you picked your own herbs. If you went out to the herb boxes, you can pick a small bunch of herbs. I've been really enjoying the mint. I actually already used my mint for today, so that's why it's not being shown. Your fresh herbs can be stored in a plastic bag in the fridge, or if you have an herb saver, or in a small glass. So I still have my parsley from last week, some of it that's stored in a glass in the fridge, in a glass of water in the fridge. That's it for this week. If you have any questions, make sure you tag me on the Facebook group. If you have some fun recipes that you're using, take pictures, share the links. so we all can enjoy them. And I will see you guys all next week.